American Water Polo.
Hi, this is Damon Newman from American Water Polo, and we're here today to profile a club team, Costa del Sur, and check out and meet Ernie Medina, the coach from Costa. Ernie, how you doing?
Doing well, Damon. Thanks. Good to
Excellent,
see you,
excellent.
brother.
So, tell me a little bit about your club. Where you guys are located, the age groups you guys have had, the mission of the team.
Okay. So we're Costa del Sur, and we're based in Chula Vista, California, and Imperial Beach. We're actually the most southern club in San Diego, and we're affiliated with American Water Polo as well as United States Water Polo. Currently, we have over 200 athletes. During the summer, we get up to about 300. And we use 4 different pools in the San Diego area. And we work with predominantly the schools and the athletes that go to the schools in the Sweetwater Union High School District. So our ages, they range from about 6 through 18. We have about 6 coaches that work with us. A lot of them are coaches in the area or teachers in the area or former athletes of mine. And I've done clubs for about close to 40 years, but this club started about 6 years ago and has just been doing real well in the area down here.
Excellent, excellent. That sounds great. So, we talked a little earlier, but how have you been keeping yourself busy these days? Take me through your day as we kind of face the crisis that we're facing throughout the country right now.
Well, what I do, and I kind of spread this through my team, is I'm very scheduled. So I get up the same time, I make my bed the same time, I get on my bike or I get some cardio in. I take care of the dog, eat my breakfast the same time, get my workout in, and then get to work. So what I've done, and my family, what we've done is my wife works at home, and we've done a couple things. So we got a puppy that keeps everybody kind of busy. Both my daughters are here with us. They're both adults. One came from England. We're happy that she's healthy and safe. This is a water polo family. So without water polo, we have to focus on other things. So I always tell the kids to stay scheduled. So I'm spiritually strong. I try to stay physically fit. We try to keep our diet well. We just try to stay positive and
I think that's great advice. Staying scheduled, getting up at the same time. Like getting ready to like you're going to work, right? And like staying in those same, those same routines that you would do if you weren't able to leave the house. So I think that's really smart.
One other thing, that I recommend is what I do is I have a notepad with me everywhere and I journal. And so, if I'm watching something in the news, I'll study it. So I journal it and I get back to it later. If there's a movie or a book or music or something, I'll journal, I'll side note it. And I tell the kids to do this as well because it keeps your mind going, and it keeps you connected. And so I think that's what we want to do is we want to be real. We want to be connected. We just don't want to stop. We want to just keep flourishing through the day. So that's one thing.
That's really true. And so speaking of connected, have you been able to keep in touch with your athletes? How are they holding up?
So what I do is pardon me, I'm getting a phone call. So what I just started doing is I just started Zooming. I put out a couple exercise videos that explain, some dry land things or some free weight or some extension cord, elastic cord, rubber band videos. So I'm working on that. Once a week, I always put out a weekly report, and it goes out on my app. So I have a team app that I do.
Excellent.
And so I want the kids to know I'm always there. And I want the kids to know that they're free to call me personally And so that's what we've done. I mean, I've actually had kids drive by, at a certain time just to say hi or to pick up equipment or something like that. We keep our social distancing, but I don't turn away the kids. If they need something, they give me a call, they drive by, if they want a hard copy workout or whatever. So with the high school kids, we just started doing that in the club. That's been an ongoing thing.
All right. Well, that's great. That's a great way to keep connected. And so, you're putting out some videos. Are you directing them to sites, or are you actually you're actually getting in there and you're doing the work?
Okay, that's funny because
I know you're capable of doing it.
Yeah. So I've been doing the work, but my responses are different because the kids will say I love it, the parents will say I love it, or if they're very close to me,
right,
they'll laugh and they'll send me some type of comment. So what today I'm gonna go ahead and recruit my daughters. They're both D1 level water polo players, and so there's things that Coach Ernie just cannot do anymore. So the videos have been instructive, but I really want to work them towards a alignment where we can work out together. So that's what I'm getting at. But I'd like some things that have been sent out. So I've seen some things from Cap 7.
Yeah, I've seen some Cap 7 ones. I've seen some of the stuff U.S. Water Polo has done.
Right.
And some of the things you could probably just find online just in general, right?
Exactly. And these kids are, you got to remember, kids are super smart. And they're so technologically smart. If like one kid asked me a question and said, Coach, what are the best exercises for my chest? And I said, well, I can tell you them, but I bet you if you go on YouTube, there's going to be 1,000 and you're going to, so I like the connection where I can tell them, and then I'll tell them to research it or investigate it. The nutrition, we're getting into the mental mindset now where how can I keep these kids focused? We're looking forward to a lot of events here in San Diego that have already passed.
Right.
We're looking for summer events that may not happen or going to be postponed.
Right. And that makes it really challenging, to, like you said, keeping the athletes focused, and just really kind of filtering in a lot of what they're getting and keeping them engaged, right? And
yeah.
Without.
And it should be daily, right? Because, if you're high school, you're used to working out 5 to 6 days a week, and you're not, or whatever, if you're challenged, so the kids are not going to go back to school. Our governor mentioned that, yesterday, they won't go back to school this year. And so they're going to be challenged with their video instruction. And it's how you approach it. It's what you want out of it. And so it's the same thing. Are you going to do nothing? Or are you going to be structured and start doing something? And so I was talking to my coaches this morning, and I said, I haven't really changed. I'm just away. I'm just not physically there, but I have not really changed. So I'm still coaching the kids, and the only thing is I want them to, I always ask the kids to mature, grow up a little bit, like, hey, grow up this much. That's it. I'm not asking too much. Well, now this much is going to be like that. You know what I mean? So
right.
This is part of it, but guess what? I tell them they're going to be superheroes after this. They're going to be forged.
Right, you're right. They're going to have the ability to persevere on a level that people have yet to do, in 100 years, right?
Right, exactly, brother.
Collectively as a society, so.
Hopefully, God willing.
Yeah, God willing as well too. So, what are you looking forward to the most? I know you said you haven't changed much, but what are you looking forward to the most when you can get back and work with your coaches, work with your athletes?
I was thinking about that, and I always tell the kids like this. So when we go to a tournament, we get up, let's say we get up at 5 and we travel up to Orange County, and
right.
We go to a tournament, we walk on deck and everybody's setting up, and I look and I breathe deep. I said, there's nothing like a water polo tournament. I said, look, your parents are here. They brought you food. Everybody's happy. We want to compete. So the vibe or the sense that you have, especially, I've been doing this for 40 years. There's nothing that can match that. You take a deep breath and okay, you take a whiff of the chlorine or whatever, but on a sunny day in California, there's nothing like getting to the beach or getting to a pool, and so I look forward to that. The other thing is, I don't know if this is, sounds mushy, but I've got kids that will come up and hug me every time they see me. So I got the 10, I walk on deck with the 10Us, the 12Us, the 14s. I make my presence for every part of my team. And so I miss that, I miss going up and giving a kid an attaboy, and then that kid turned around and give me a hug. So if my kids or my coaches were to see this, they would know that with all sincerity, what I miss the most is that personal interaction. That's what I miss the most. So when I get back, it's going to be a party scene. I don't know exactly what. I got to figure it out. It's going to be a redirection, a new direction, and then it's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah.
And that's a good feeling too, right? When you see your kids working hard, and then the outcome of working hard. So
I would agree. There's a lot of rewarding things about coaching, whether it's winning. But for me, the most rewarding part is that connection you have with athletes. Like you said, you work with the 10s, the 12s, the 14s. It's the high fives, it's the hugs. It's like, hey, you know what? Like, whether we win or lose, like, you're learning, you're progressing, you're doing something you really love to do.
Yeah.
So
you have to be. So if you're a coach or teacher or whatever, you got to be pretty bold, because you're responsible, right? So you're pretty bold, you're confident, and so the kids look up to you, and so when you go out on deck, that's the way they look up to you. They don't look up to you any other way if you're a strong coach. And so when they miss that, and I miss that too. I miss the kids looking up, say, "Coach, help me. This is what I need to do."
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Ernie, you're obviously putting out a lot of content. You're really making sure the athletes are staying together. What's something, could you recommend any good books for athletes, to kind of, get out of their own head, maybe just get into something different?
So to be honest with you, I talked to my daughter, the one that went to UCI, and I says, they're going to ask me this thing about books. And she said, Dad, your favorite book is Eddie Would Go. And
okay.
Because you have to understand my mentality. So my mentality is real life stories of things that I can relate to, which, lifeguarding, surfing, whatever. Same with the movies. Of course, I like all the Arnold things and all the Sylvester Stallone things, but in reality, I like the true life stories, and so I tell them about what I see or read or whatever. I read a book. I wrote it down here. Let's see. I read a couple things. Number one is I think that the kids need to have a spiritual strength in their life. So, I read the Bible, and I look at it this way. In high school, I asked the kids if they would like to hear something that I read from the Bible. With my club, I tell them, listen to what I just read. And so there's a little difference if you get my vibe.
Right.
So I read recently, it's called A Champion's Mind. And so, they can look that up. This has to do with mindset.
Sure.
And it has to do with life. The other one is God's Grace for Athletes. And that has to do with, I think athletes are super special. in my eyes, and I know in God's eyes. And so that's where I tied. So those two books I would kind of recommend, other than the Eddie Would Go, because that's kind of a fun, true story.
Hey, you know what? Whatever you connect with, I think is important to people, and you know that those are some great recommendations for sure. Hey, we're just out about time here, Ernie. But you know what? I really loved the chat. We really enjoyed learning more about Costa del Sur Club. This is Damon Newman from American Water Polo. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and our website, AmericanWaterPolo.org. Remember, it's important to stay connected to what's important to you.